For years, I have been a frustrated Star Wars The Black Series collector. I felt like there were so many great opportunities to execute off of anniversaries, do more figures, more creative ways, like we've seen them do with some excellent figures, like that Hoth Trooper, like the Indoor Trooper. Not quite as great as the Hoth Trooper, which is one of my favorite figures in my collection simply because that might be the best army builder I have in my entire figure room. It's so well done. And I've seen how great the Black Series can be, which is what frustrates me so much when I was looking over the years of my wish list of characters. I'm like, why is this really important character from the prequels or the original trilogy? Shout out Lobot. Still not done in the Black Series form. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, maybe they can get away from their safety net, their comfort zone of the Mandalorian. And I get it. For Star Wars, it needed to be Mando, because for so long, there wasn't much to get excited about outside of that. But now in 2024, big time turnaround. I feel like they've done a tremendous job. So many figures that I've had on my wish list got scratched off, and I'm sure that's my bias, but I think they've done some really amazing figures in 2024, which made it really easy to come up with this top 10. Shocker, not a one from the corner of the Mandalorian universe, which is crazy because I mean, that was like top 10s were basic Mandalorian figures from a few years back, but this time it's really good. I was really excited about what they put out. Looking forward to what's ahead for 2025. But for right now, let's break down just the highs, no lows of the Star Wars Black Series from 2024 with my top 10 list coming at you right now. What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Two more top 10s to go right now on deck. Star Wars The Black Series. And as we're in the waning hours of 2024, got JoJo Classified Series coming at you really soon, in a few more hours, actually. But let's get to the Black Series, a line that I thought had a really, really strong 2024. I mean, I expect a certain level of quality from the Classified Series. I expect all the G1 figures that I want from Transformers to be excellent and great. I consistently think Mattel does great work with their WWE, their Masters of the Universe line. So I don't really have much room to get impressed. But this line, the Star Wars Black Series, was by far the most improved for me in 2024. I mean, the figures they put out, the character selections, the character rollouts. There were a few where I was like, if only you had done this a little bit better. But I think by and large, this year was a nice turnaround from what they've been doing. And I felt like it needs a full-time clapping gif. Great job, Black Series team. Absolutely no sarcasm whatsoever. I really do commend you guys. You've done a great work in 2024. Keep it up for 2025. Let's keep this momentum rolling. Let's get underway with this top 10 list with two, shout out Chuck Woolery, RIP, two honorable mentions. I don't want to flood it with a bunch of runners up to the top 10, but I really like these characters, and I thought they did a nice job in terms of the figures, not so much the characters. But anyway, first one's going to shock you because it's about the Acolyte, the show that if you've paid any attention, you've watched any of the Lyles Movie Files every Wednesday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time, you know I was not really feeling. But the Black Series team did an awesome job, and this one is of Osha, and I thought this figure was fantastic. I mean, this is a really well done figure all the way around. The likeness to actress Amanda Stenberg, tremendous. And look at this hair sculpt. I don't really like the hairstyle, but I thought, look at all this individual sculpting on the hair. It is great. They even added some color. I complain so often about how these figure lines don't do gradients in hair. It's just one flat color. Not so here with Osha. You can see there's some light brown going into darker brown and the black. Nice gradient. And it's not just restricted to one area. You see these two cornrows, twists, braids, whichever way you want to describe them. Got a little brown, a little bit of black there. This likeness is so good. This looks like Amanda Stenberg. And her jacket's well detailed. She's got a little comm unit there. The ridges on the vest. This really unique style of holster she's got going. Her pouch here, the device. Really nice looking figure. And I think they just did a killer job with her. And here, best part, If you just want a Star Wars random background character, you can get her right now for 918. But then, even better, there's a 30% off coupon, which, good grief, does that take her even lower than 918? That's crazy because I think this is a really well done figure, just all the way around. Check out the boots, the pants. I mean, she's got good articulation for a Black Series figure. She can do some stuff. And I mean, gosh, if I didn't have so much negative connotation to the Acolyte, which I mean, I don't even know. I mean, if they were 918, that's a really good figure and just a cool background character. Maybe you need somebody for your cantina setup. But this is a really good figure and definitely one worthy of honorable mention for the Black Series. So good stuff. And again, you want Acolyte figures, they're basically giving them away right now over on my affiliate, Amazon.com. And my other honorable mention is the other side of Star Wars TV shows, one that I like basically right from the start, the Star Wars Skeleton Crew. And I think the figures are pretty good all the way around, but this is the standout to me. Captain Brutus. He's such a cool looking figure. And again, even if you have zero connection to the show, if you're not invested, you don't care, but I really think you should give it a try because it is a very fun show. This is a really cool looking figure. I mean, he's got this whole Wolfman thing going for him. Check out all that detailing on the vest. His holster is really cool. There's spots for some more guns. This is really cool. I mean, he's got this Buccaneer Captain pirate thing going so well. Check out the cuffs. I mean, there's so much personality in this figure. He looks great. Again, more faded detail, like color grading. And I love that. I mean, this is a ragged, dog-eared jacket. So you can see the ripping of the leather. Very nicely done with the paint job. A little bit more fading there. I love that. I think they just knocked this guy out so well. And I don't think they're giving him away yet. He's $24.99. No price cuts, but a really cool figure. He's just, this dude looks really fun and so expressive, so much personality. You don't even have to be a fan of Star Wars to be like, you know what? That's a cool figure. I can find a place for this in my collection. I don't know if he'll show up at Ollie's for $9.99 and make me kind of silly for going for him for $24.99, but I think it's a really well done figure. Definitely worthy of honorable mention. And there's two from Disney Plus. And let's go on to the top 10 right now. And my first one, number 10, is, and the main reason why this is in the number 10 spot, not because of the execution of the figures, which I think are really good. It's just the way they've rolled it out. I'm talking about the Black Series Mace Windu on 187th Legion Clone Trooper. I love the purple on this. This costume looks great, or the armor paint job is amazing. This Mace figure is awesome too. And so much to love about this. A Clone Wars, Clones of the Republic set. You can see we've got Mace, we've got the Clone Trooper on the side. My biggest beef, of course, is we've got an army builder with a main name character, and that's sort of okay, I suppose. But really, I'm just here for army builders. And I mentioned this with the Wolverine, the Marvel Legends, but peep this out here, where they're actually doing what we haven't seen Hasbro do with these lines in the past, where previously this point here would have just been all this off-white right through here, through this joint, which would break up the boot. Now, again, you wish that pin was painted, but baby steps. They're actually painting these parts, which is a really nice sign. I love that because it's showing that, yeah, we can pay attention to that kind of detail. Let's knock it out. The Clone Trooper, again, I love this paint scheme. It's just the purple is so rich, really stands out nicely against some of your other Clone Troopers. And this Mace is so well done. And it's a really good two-pack. But I would have loved it even more if we got Mace as a solo figure and got multiples of this 187th Trooper, because I had to do a little Photoshop magic to create an army. It doesn't make sense to army build when I've got a spare Jedi every time I'm going out there with this set. So good accessories. The helmet does not come off with this guy, or does it? I feel like it does not. Yeah. But here you go. I mean, I gave it a 10 out of 10 because I really love this set, but I wish I could have actually set this up and not just rely on Photoshop magic to make that happen, because I want more of those Clone Troopers. And that's really the only way to get it with this set. It's just one, and they keep having random spare Mace Windu figures, because, how many people are just going to want the Mace and not the Clone Trooper? So kind of makes it little bit harder to get. So hopefully we'll get a standalone 187 because that trooper builder is really well done. Again, the paint scheme is awesome, and I'd love to have more than just that one, but I'm having a random collection of clone troopers who are just one-offs. They don't even have any other fellow army builders to go along with them. But yeah, we'll get that figured out, knock it out real soon, though. So continuing on with that theme, let's go to my number 9 choice. And this one might be a little bit more egregious than the Mace and the 187 Trooper, but I love it so much. And that's why it's 9 instead of 10. It is this set, Captain Enoch and the Night Trooper set. This is so well done. And what I really, really dug about it is these cracks in the armor are actually sculpted in. It's not just, hey, let's leave it up to the paint job. It is actually sculpted in, which is so cool. And this gold really pops against that Stormtrooper white, and it's a really nice sheen shade of gold, and it's just amazing. They didn't mess up Enoch. It should be all the way gold. I don't know why they want this copper. That's weird, especially since this gold pops so nice. I would have loved to have seen that applied here as well. But the Night Trooper also looks cool. These wraps are sculpted again, not leaving it up to the paint job, the painters to do this. It's all done through sculpting, which is so cool. And the difference with the paint job on the helmet, you see the cracks, it looks awesome. And this figure, just the set, really looks good. But again, why not just have Enoch as a standalone figure? Mix up this design just a little bit, change up the paint somewhat. I would have happily bought I would have bought so many of these guys if it was just a set of Night Troopers because it was so well done. And I know a lot of you all have been able to take advantage of that sale that Walmart had where basically you got this set for $13.50. So you're paying for a Night Trooper for $13.50, still way cheaper than a Black Series figure. But I love how these two look. They're amazing. I mean, the paint job alone is just spectacular. And I really appreciate them doing all this extra work. This is one where, oh, yeah, we can't just cheap out and just reuse this mold over and over again. And it just looks so cool. I mean, it is really, really amazing. The Stormtrooper has so much great articulation. He can hit so many cool poses. I said Stormtrooper, the Night Trooper, you know what I'm talking about. But this is a really fun set, and they scaled out pretty well. So the old Thrawn is actually still taller than Enoch, and he's taller than girl. Geez, what's her name now? Of course, I'm blanking on it. Oh, Elsbeth. Yes. So yeah, it's just like a really cool set. And I was really happy to get these guys. And for those of you who got it for $13.50, it's even better. But man, I was trying to play around because you got this articulation to have them get more of that zombified look. Morgan's brought him back, and here we go fighting against my Rebels versions of Sabine and Ezra. But yeah, good set, really nicely done. Wish they would give us some more Night Troopers so we can keep this running. I got this for $44.97. That's definitely something I want to mention. Star Wars The Black Series actually did something we don't see enough of with these multi-packs where they said, yeah. We're doing a 2-pack, some of which is including some reuse. We're not going to charge you the same price. So now in 2024, these figures are $25. So just off break, that set should have cost $50. Giving it to us for a little bit cheaper is a nice sign of goodwill and something that I definitely again want to commend them for because they're setting the price points. And so not going $50, not going 55, and we're like, why are we being charged extra here? Taking it down makes it feel like a value. So definitely a good set. And if you got that for $13, you really came out ahead. You might want to shoot that up a little bit higher on your own personal top 10 list. But definitely enjoyed those two. Want to get some more. So we'll see. And for my number 8 spot, I cheated because you can't really have one without the other. I'd have been fine if this is a 2-pack as well, but we didn't get it that way. So little tag team action here. The number 8 is Padme Amidala from her Phantom Menace look. Really cool. And I love the likeness of Natalie Portman here. I think this is a really strong job capturing that and her fighting togs. And you can see she's got some pretty solid articulation. And again, $24.99. You got that 30% off coupon. Really knocks her down even cheaper. So that's a good figure. I got her from Hasbro Pulse when they were doing a big sale. So I was able to get that price down to what you can get her for right now on Amazon, but really good figure all the way. And next up, I mean, how are you going to do Padme without Anakin? Little Annie style, although he is not under this 30% off coupon, which I thought was really interesting. So you can only get him for the reduced price of 8%. So he's $22.99. But I mean, this dude isn't super articulated. He's not a Jedi yet. But he's really cool. I think they did a great job getting that Jake Lloyd likeness down. I mean, you can see that here in his head sculpt. Got a little freckling action going. The hair again has some gradation to it where it's not just gold, it's a little bit of brown, little gold in there, really capturing how he looks on the screen. So that's cool. It comes with his backpack. Bye, mom. See you again when you're chained up by the Tusken Raiders. But just solid work for these two. And I really thought they did a great job with both of them. So congratulations to the Black Series team. That's why those two are my number 8 figures in my top 10. That is a cheat. I try not to do that too often. You're not going to see that again, but those two needed to get paired together because, you know, they're a pair all the way through the prequel trilogy. Next up, my number 7 selection, a legitimate 2-pack. This time it's a Fleet Trooper and the Stormtrooper. We've gotten both of these characters before in the Black Series, but the face printing detail work on the Fleet Trooper so much better. Comes with some decent accessories. Our Stormtroopers, the newer articulated mold. So this is a really nice, well articulated set. And you know, it's just I love the work on these they're doing. I mean, the articulation's not quite as great as like a Marvel Legends or some other lines, but it's really close to it. And their single joint range pretty much gives you the same range of motion that you'd get from a double jointed articulation point. So it's all good. It doesn't really impact things to a point where it's like, oh man, you guys are messing things up. Great 2-pack. And what I really like about this one, you can just army build it up where you've got 1-to-1, you've got a Stormtrooper, you've got a Fleet Trooper. I really would have loved if they had some more head sculpt options, but you know, whatever. Paint a mustache, give him a goatee, give him a beard if you're really feeling frisky. There are other head sculpts for 6-inch figures that you can use. Just plop on that helmet, you're all good to go. And we've got a major battle from A New Hope right there in the collection. So I really dig that. And you're going to see that as a continuing theme throughout the rest of these top 10 list here, where the pairs opposing forces is a real trend and definitely something I commend the Black Series team with doing, because that's really something they could get away with, because Star Wars is so much about the armies. But this army builder set, my number 6 one, is just a straight up army builder. And it was helpful because when Walmart was doing their exclusives, they made some stuff hard to find. And then the Black Series, you know, anytime they have exclusives, it's a little bit tricky, especially with army builders. But this one was courtesy of the guys over at Hasbro Pulse, which made it a lot easier to get. And it's this one, this set from Ahsoka. And I love this one because you got the option to do your Ahsoka clones or your Phase 1 clone trooper. And let's see here. I love this. So you can go old school and you have young Ahsoka here chilling with her green lightsaber, and she's smaller and skinnier and frailer. And you got your Phase 1 clone trooper, and he's got great posability too, so you can do all kinds of fun stuff. And then you can add on to your clone troopers with Ahsoka, older Ahsoka, who's surprisingly available. She was so hard to find for years. Walmart had hers an exclusive as part of their Clone Wars set. She was impossible to find, and I was so thrilled to get her on the site, and now everyone gets a chance to get her, and she hasn't sold out again, which I think is wild. No Photoshop actually needed here. I already had 2 clone troopers from Ahsoka, got to add a third one, but I really dig the option to mix it up. So you can see here, back to back, you can get different levels to it. And this is so cool because you've got all the weapons. You've got the larger rifle, the smaller rifle, and then you've got either way you want to go with this. I do wish that included another set of helmets either way. So if you wanted 2 Phase 1 clone troopers, you've got that. If you just wanted 2 Ahsoka troopers, you've got that. But either way, you're adding to your army building setup, which is awesome. That's part of the fun with Star Wars. And the Black Series line truly delivered on that front for most of 2024. Speaking of, my number 5 character on my list is definitely one that I was griping about the first time they rolled it out, and that was in a 2-pack in an army builder. This should have been awesome, but they included a C-3PO head as opposed to the normal battle droid head. And it was like, I would have bought a million of these. But now I still get a chance to do that, just a little bit different way of executing, because number 5 on my list is a super battle droid. And you can see low stock, but he's actually in stock over at Hasbro Pulse. And I don't need any fancy bells and whistles with the super battle droid. The only thing I needed was for these guys to stand up and not topple and wilt over. So there you go. You got your heavy hitters for your clone army. And they did so much work with the prequels, I thought, this year, where we got Anakin, we got Padme, we've got a clone trooper set for phase 1, we've got a super battle droid, more army builder options, but this is really cool. And as I'm looking here, I do not see their hey, you can only give it so many. Let me just check here real fast to see how many I can get. 2. It's like 2 right now. 3. Let's see how many more can we add onto this thing. Is 5 the cap? Oh shoot, is 5 going to sell it out or what? Maybe I just watched it go in live time to sell out. Anyway, really dig the super battle droid. I thought those were great additions to the line. Again, if you're like me, a big fan of Clone Wars, of the prequel trilogy, you need as many battle droids as you can fit on your shelf, because you got to have them outnumber your Jedi. And then you've got clone troopers for them to contend with as well. So you can never have too much, just like Luther said, never too much, never too much. So number 5, the super battle droid. Let's move on to number 4 on my list. And this one probably won't come as a surprise to you, what I've just been saying. It's all about the prequels, army builders. And number 4 is this set, the battle droid versus the phase 2 clone trooper. So cool. And this one's one where you could get a little bit of a discount, so it's cheaper than $44.99. Again, better than paying $25 a piece for each figure, which is, $50 for a 2-pack. Give you a discount. Very cool. And I love this. This one does have the removable helmet. I love this pose. It's like we just stopped another clanker and no paint, which is great because we get a generic one. If you're so inclined, if you're really great and handy with a paintbrush, you can mix and match the colors. You can add some more to all the different clone armies, the legions that you want. Given it's a straight blank white body armor suit, is really ideal and a really great 2-pack one. And again, I still need more of. I just can't have enough of this set, and a really good job on it. The execution, superb. And this is what I've been saying. More army builders, please. And they delivered big time in 2024, the Black Series. Now we move on to my number 3 choice, and not an army builder, but a very essential, very important character to the prequels. And maybe you're noticing a trend with my top 10, Ki-Adi-Mundi. And finally getting this overdue Jedi was such a big win for me in 2024. I thought they knocked this guy out. I mean, the detail on that head sculpt is amazing. It's not just like one little cylinder. It's got all kinds of different ridges. It's got the tuft of hair up top and got those thicker, bushier eyebrows. His goatee looks great. He's got his Jedi hood rocking, going nicely there. And you can see he's taller than a bunch of other ones, including Anakin's. We've got our clones. Again, love the option of having different versions of Clone Wars Ahsoka. And so that's really cool. And he's got his blue lightsaber. And he's got a great range of motion there. And it's just really fun to be able to have another really key member of the Jedi Council, Jedi Master, ready to do his thing. And you can actually get a little articulation where he's stroking his brow and his chin. I love that. It's really cool. And adding more to these guys is so fun. And he's a really great addition to the line. And I really had fun with this one. And again, getting those prequel characters, those key essential members of the lineup, so important. Next year's 2025. That crazily is a big anniversary year for Revenge of the Sith, the 25th anniversary. I don't know where that 20 years went. Maybe my hair can tell me, but it's vanished. And I'm like, what? It's been 20 years since Revenge of the Sith. I remember sitting in the theater like, this is the last time I'm going to watch the Star Wars scroll for the first time in a movie theater. And we know that's not true. I mean, that there's so many more films, the great one, Rogue One, to come, and some others that I'll just ignore for now. No need to go into sequel trilogy bashing on a day of celebration. My number 2 selection, and you might know where I'm going to go with this. Speaking of that continued theme, Duel of the Fates. And you see here, it's exclusive to GameStop. $70, which is still cheaper, $5 cheaper than if you bought each of these $24.99 figures all on their own. So loving that trend, definitely happy with that. This set really did have it all. A big key pivotal, probably the key pivotal moment for this movie, Phantom Menace, for most fans. I love watching Palpatine's manipulations, his machinations, he's setting everything up, getting everything in order. But for real, the action in this is all about this scene here, and it's so well done. And I love the fact that, so often you might just get a Jedi and there they go, and they're, the robes off. But this set, they really went out and it gave us a Qui-Gon Jinn who had been super expensive, and you could try and find him for cheaper than $70 and might strike out. So being able to get him and 2 other figures that you really needed was very cool. The robes are really nicely tailored. They've got their lightsabers, and you can see Qui-Gon's noticeably taller than Obi-Wan. And then that means you've got your Darth Maul pulling off one of the major moments in a trailer. And like, oh, shoot, this dude's serious. His robe looks really great too. And soft goods now. I had the original Black Series Darth Maul, which I loved. I thought that figure was awesome. But the robe was a little bit restrictive, a little bit limited in terms of what you could do. Now you got the soft goods joint where you actually take it off, and we'll handle this. One of my favorite moments in a movie. And then you can actually pull this scene off. And wow, how cool is this? Being able to do this with these 3 figures. And again, you don't have to go through hoops. You don't have to try to find them later on the secondary market for even remotely same price point. You got them all right here, and just really well executed. The head sculpts on Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in particular look so well done, and just loving it. You see the butterfly shoulders here with Maul, so he's got a lot more articulation than that original one, and just really nicely done setup here for a key major moment in all of Star Wars. You must train him, Obi-Wan. He is the chosen one. Or is he? And my number 1 is this guy was, geez, ridiculously overdue. And I was like, just like, come on, Hasbro. Why are you making me wait for this guy? Why is he not in my collection right now? He's the Phantom Menace. He's the main villain of this whole thing, even in your convoluted manner of making him the main villain of the sequel trilogy. It's this guy, Darth Sidious. And I think they did a really nice job with him. We got the plastic hood, so we've got that. You don't have to worry about it and getting a pointy head or pointy hood, which would look goofy and stupid. And this is really nicely applied. And they implemented some soft goods on the section that makes sense for it to be soft goods. And it's not one of those goofy things where it's so big where it just looks like, oh, check out my baby's blanket. He looks really good. They executed really nicely. Here he is with some of his legions, the 501st Anakin Skywalker figure arts version, because I'm really, really, really hoping with the 25th anniversary, I get a much improved Black Series version of Anakin and Obi-Wan, one that I can be proud to have on my display as opposed to using these figure art figures. But here he is next to Darth Tyrannus. I love saying that more than Count Dooku. But he looks really cool. You can see he's got the little bushed up sleeves, but I think they make sense and they look good. He's got that Luke Skywalker body underneath, and it's cool because it provided him with tons of movement options, even if he doesn't really need it because he's fighting Yoda, basically. But this looks really good, and I'm wondering if maybe we're going to get one with Palpatine before he fights Mace, so we can have that look where he's facing off, I am the Senate. And we can get that look so we can have this, because this is after the fight. This is because of the Jedi treachery, we may be the only ones aware of what happened. And he hit this pose. That's great. Thanks to that Luke Skywalker body underneath. And my favorite is being able to actually pull off this look. So when I open up my Yoda in Commander Gree, I'm gonna actually have him fighting him on that low level stance like this. So this is fun. There's no Photoshop needed here, no assistance with the posing. Then this Darth Sidious figure is so much fun. You can almost do that pose all the way. I think that was really solid. And again, he's got some fun lightsaber dueling poses options. Comes with lightning hands too. And that's something we weren't getting normally with Black Series. It's, hey, here's your one accessory. Hope you enjoy it. It's a Jedi, so that hilt is removable from the blade. So you've got two accessories. But no, he's done up really nice. Because of the plastic nature of this hood, you couldn't get a maniacal, snarling, laughing head sculpt. Maybe face plates would have been really cool, but I think the way that hood's set up, you really wouldn't have been able to put that in there anyway. So you just got to celebrate, deal with this, where he's got that insidious look. And Darth Tyrannus is in the background. And I love being able to do that. A little bit more plotting before they pull out the rest of this plan. Rise, Lord Vader. And I'm just digging it. I mean, this guy looks so cool. And I'm really thrilled to have him finally in my Black Series collection. As I've said, there are more looks for Palpatine that I want. I want Senator Palpatine from, Phantom Menace. I want the full-on Chancellor Palpatine from Attack of the Clones. I wouldn't mind getting more of his robe looks as well from Clone Wars and just doing it up, having some fun with him. But I needed Darth Sidious. He was really important. Finally have him in the line. So I'm all good. I'm happy about that. Really well done all around. Top 10 from the Black Series line. And I'm sure some of y'all have some different choices you would put in that list, but I was really happy with this. I didn't get the droid card just yet, so that's why that's not on here, but hopefully I can track that down sooner rather than later. But yeah, really good stuff from the Star Wars Black Series team. I hope they continue it. Keep it rolling. Keep this train going. Let's get Lobot. Let's get a few more Clone Wars cartoon characters in the mix while we're at it, because that's next on my list. That's going to be the top 10 list soon for early the figures I want to see in 2025. But I was really impressed, and I thought they did a good job. If you thought so too, let me know what your top 10 lists were for the Black Series. Or if you're a Vintage Collection fan, let me know what really won you over this year too. So thanks so much. Couple more hours. Stay tuned. Going to have that G.I. Joe Classified Series top 10 real soon. But for now, this episode of Lyle's Figure Files has been filed.